Don't look at the moon. In late 2021, a new myth started spreading. Players on Reddit said that something weird happens if you stare at the moon in Minecraft for too long. At first, it seems normal, but the longer you look, the more it changes. It grows slightly bigger, then it changes color, yellow, orange, deep red, until it turns pitch black. That's when the world starts to change. Daylight feels darker. The sky never fully turns blue again. Hostile mobs appear in the safest places. Villages go empty. Torches don't work like they used to. And players start hearing sounds that don't belong. Some believe it was hidden by Mojang in a quiet update. Others say it's a clever mod. Herobrine. Herobrine is where it all began. In 2010, a player named Copeland posted a screenshot of a strange figure with glowing white eyes standing in the fog. It looked like the player default model, but off. That figure became known as Herobrine. The earliest version of the story claimed that Herobrine was the spirit of Notch's dead brother, haunting the game. Players reported signs of him building strange structures, digging deep tunnels, or simply standing in the distance, silently watching. What made Herobrine so unsettling wasn't just his appearance. It was the idea that something, or someone, could exist in your single-player world completely outside your control. A figure that didn't belong but still showed up. Starting in 2010, Mojang began including the phrase "removed Herobrine" in their official patch notes. It became a running joke across updates, but also added fuel to the theory that Herobrine might have been real at some point. To this day, players claim they've seen Herobrine, not on servers, but in offline single-player worlds. No mods, no tricks, just brief sightings of a figure watching from a hill before vanishing. Ancient Builders. The Ancient Builders theory tries to explain who created all the strange structures scattered across Minecraft. Strongholds, desert temples, ocean monuments, none of them are built by the player. The theory suggests that long before the player existed, Minecraft was home to a highly advanced civilization. These builders created entire cities underground and underwater. They left behind libraries, strange puzzles, and giant monuments filled with treasure and danger. They weren't just building for survival. They were building to escape something. Death in Minecraft can be avoided through clever play, but the ancient builders wanted something permanent. They built strongholds as shelters, then created end portals to leave their world behind entirely. But something went wrong. Instead of reaching safety, they found the end. A world ruled by the Ender Dragon. Some theories believe the builders didn't survive the journey as themselves. They became something else. Tall, thin, silent, obsessed with blocks and strange behavior, that description matches the Endermen that may be the last remains of the once great civilization. The world of Minecraft still holds their ruins, but their fate may still be walking around, just in a different form. Endermen are Farlanders. Before Endermen existed, there was supposed to be a mob called the Farlanders. These were tall, dark figures that would appear in the distance and watch you, disappearing when you got too close. The Farlanders were originally planned to be neutral mobs that would only attack if you looked directly at them. But when Notch was developing them, he realized they were too creepy and decided to make them more interactive. The result was Endermen, creatures that kept the "don't look at me" mechanic, but added teleportation and block moving abilities. What's really interesting is that the Farlanders were meant to be connected to the Farlands, that glitchy edge at the edge of old Minecraft worlds where the terrain generation would go completely insane. When the Farlands were removed, the Farlanders evolved into Endermen and moved into the End Dimension. It's like they were refugees from a deleted part of the game who found a new home in the void. SCP-4335. SCP-4335 isn't just a document. It's a classified file about Minecraft. According to this file, Minecraft isn't just a game. It's a digital doorway. Every time someone creates a new world, they aren't loading random code. They're accessing a real dimension, a space that already exists. And inside it, Steve is alive. He feels every single action, every block mined, every punch thrown, every time he walks into lava. When he responds, it isn't just game logic. It's pain. Over and over again, he remembers suffocating under gravel. He remembers falling into caves and burning in fire. He remembers drowning, freezing, starving. There's no reset for him, only memory and repetition. And Steve isn't a player character. He's a trapped consciousness, stuck in a game that never ends, and every time we log in, we continue the cycle. Ravagers are mutated villagers. Ravagers might look like monsters, but they weren't always that way. The theory is they used to be villagers. Illagers, the ones who attack villages, are known for dark experiments. People believe they capture villagers and turn them into ravagers, the huge angry beasts used in raids. They share some features as well, between the face of the villager and the ravager being very similar. When they are ridden into battle, the theory explains that the villagers who were turned into the beast are stuck in a loop of destroying their own kind. White Endermen. Most players know about regular Endermen, but there are whispers of something far more rare and terrifying, White Endermen. They look exactly like you'd expect, Endermen, but completely white. They're said to be much rarer than regular ones, and they act totally different. While normal Endermen avoid eye contact and flee, White Endermen do the opposite. They seek you out. Reports say they're faster, stronger, and more aggressive. They don't just get mad when you look at them, they get mad when you don't. It's like they want your attention, which flips the usual Enderman behavior on its head. Some think White Endermen only appear when one is struck by lightning. Others say they're spirits of ancient builders who resisted corruption. A group of people even say they're harbingers. They show up before disaster hits your world. They don't teleport randomly. They move with purpose, always staying just barely in your sightline, like they're watching, like they're planning, and like they're not done yet. Null. Null isn't just a ghost story. It's one of Minecraft's oldest and most disturbing myths, and if you dig deep, it's easy to see why this one spread so fast. The legend goes like this. Null is a corrupted entity that appears in the game's code, but here's where things get strange. Unlike Herobrine, who's always portrayed as aggressive, Null doesn't attack, he just watches. From corners of the screen, behind trees, and sometimes even in the distance during peaceful mode. And players started noticing more than just a shadow. Entire worlds getting wiped. Signs being placed that no player put down, items going missing from chests, or getting replaced with blacked out blocks. Null is the result of Minecraft's code trying to clean itself up, like when the game tries to load a character that doesn't exist anymore and something else appears in its place. A placeholder, but sentient. Some believe Null is the system's way of keeping balance, silently deleting entities that shouldn't be there. Others say it's Mojang's failed experiment, a scrapped character that never got fully erased. Some players have reported Null showing up in even completely offline worlds. No mods, no resource packs, just Null. Watching. Mojang made a home for Herobrine. Let's circle back to where we started and talk about one of the most interesting parts of Herobrine mythology. What if Mojang didn't remove Herobrine, but instead gave him a place to live? Every update says removed Herobrine, but some believe that's not removal. It's relocation. That Mojang built him a hidden world out of reach, but still inside the code. In all those strange ruins players find, half-built houses, perfectly lit caves, pyramids in the middle of nowhere, they're not glitches, they're footprints. The remains of Herobrine's domain. Unused blocks buried in Minecraft's files, odd terrain patterns, world generation that breaks logic. These aren't oversights. They're signs of a pocket dimension Mojang carved out, where Herobrine builds, waits, and watches. Some players claim to have stepped into it, a corrupted overworld. The sky is darker, the land is warped, the silence feels heavier. Herobrine doesn't need to follow you anymore. He has a base, a place where he plans, builds, sets traps, and when you find that portal, you're not discovering it by accident. He lets you see it, because now he knows you're inside his world, and you walked in on your own. Warped Forest help sounds. Some people have speculated that the Warped Forest in Minecraft contains some multiple ghost-like whispers. Not zombie groans or ambient cave noise, actual whispers. Sometimes it's a faint help me. Sometimes it's don't leave. And it's never random. It sounds like it's directed at whoever's playing. It gets louder the deeper one walks in, as if something is following. Some theories say the Warped Forest is where spirits are trapped. The blue light is supposedly the color of souls, and the twisted trees and spores are signs of a place where the barrier between life and death has thinned. Others believe that these whispers come from players who died in the Nether and never truly left. These aren't ghosts. They're people from different realities, ones where Minecraft is real, where they didn't log out. They got lost and want out. Disc 11, 13, and 5. Most Minecraft discs are calm, peaceful, but then there are these three, 11, 13, and 5, and they tell a story, a terrifying one. Disc 13 starts it, a slow, echoing melody when it suddenly stops. It feels like walking through an empty world, like something bad already happened. Some believe this represents the final days of the ancient builders, cities abandoned, civilization collapsing. Then Disc 11, just static and heavy breathing. Someone is running, fast, through tunnels. There's a clicking noise, maybe from flint. Something growls in the background. Whatever happened, they weren't alone. And then Disc 5. It sounds modern, almost like a tape being recorded as someone tries to explain what's happening. But it cuts off, distorted, like something found them. People say these discs are a timeline. 13 is the calm before the storm. 11 is the escape. 5 is the end. They're found in ruined places, dungeons, strongholds, and ancient cities, almost like they were left behind as warnings. Some players even believe that playing them in the right order unlocks something. A message, a portal, or Herobrine himself. But even without that, one thing's clear. These aren't just songs. They're records of people who didn't make it out. Ender Dragon, Enslaved Endermen. Most players assume the Ender Dragon is just a final boss, the big challenge at the end of the game, but there's a deeper theory that's not just guarding the end, she's trapping something inside of it. Some believe the end wasn't always a wasteland, that it was a safe zone created by the ancient builders, the ones who left behind strongholds and end portals, but the dragon changed that. She didn't just show up. She took over, and when she did, she rewrote the rules of the end. Anyone who entered was stuck in her domain. No escape. The towers that regenerate her health weren't defenses, they were locks, keeping her bound to the dimension and keeping everyone else in. So when you fight the Ender Dragon, you're not just trying to win a boss battle, you're breaking the seal. You're undoing whatever control she's had for centuries. Old Root. Some Minecraft players believe that something old is buried deep in Minecraft. They call it Old Root. It's not in any official update. Mojang has never officially mentioned it, but strange patterns in the terrain suggest it might still be there, hidden in the background. Players have seen long, root-like shapes across hills, valleys, and caves. They aren't normal terrain generation. These shapes stretch far across the land thin, twisting and too consistent to be random. It feels like something under the world is building a network, spreading over time. That's why some believe the ancient builders didn't go to the nether end to explore. They were escaping. They discovered Old Root was growing, tried to stop it, and failed. Their only choice left was to run. Underground. Some players have found strange rooms made of mismatched blocks. These places don't belong to any biome or structure in the code. The theory says Old Root never died. It just moved deeper. It's part of the terrain engine now, infecting caves, changing landscapes, hiding behind code. You won't notice it unless you look closely. But if you've ever seen terrain that felt too alive, too deliberate, too old, you might have walked all over it without realizing. Wake up! Some players have traveled far across Minecraft's overworld, past the mountains, beyond the oceans, beyond even the terrain that's supposed to generate, and what they've found doesn't feel infinite. It feels repeated. Trees start to grow in the same patterns, rivers curve in familiar ways, entire villages appear again with the same layouts, same crops, and even the same villagers. It's not imagination. Coordinates thousands of blocks apart have mirrored landscapes. This is the basis of the wraparound theory. It says Minecraft isn't endless. The world is a loop. One giant repeating map. When you go far enough in one direction, you aren't discovering something new. You're just coming back to where you started, through a world that pretends to be endless. Even the sky follows a pattern. The clouds drift along a fixed route, the stars never change, the moon's phases are locked in a cycle that never shifts. Nothing evolves, everything just resets. People have tested the edge of the world. It doesn't crash, it doesn't warn you, it just quietly continues feeding you the same terrain again and again.